Hey there. So, mm, so isolation really has a lot of people stuck in ruts, stuck in negative patterns, thinking, feeling, believing, and really becoming highly judgmental. To bring this up and kind of get the conversation started, to bring that kind of viewpoint in on everything, because I think that what isolation is definitely doing is bringing about a lot of focus on negativity, on fear. And the reality is that fear itself is going to cause us more drama and pain and suffering than the actual pandemic here, than the actual virus and bug. And it's definitely not anything. And I'm talking about that fear that we have that brings a massive amount of stress into our lives, into our households. Now, COVID's a real deal. It's really there. It's really a bug. It's really killing people. People are really getting sick. We all need to be cautious. We all need to do ourselves and everybody else is taken care of. With that said, fear is not going to ever solve anything. It's not the solution to any crisis, for sure, because what fear does is it gets us caught in one pattern of thinking, and we immobilize ourselves when we think just in this one little rut. So what does that have to do with women stuck with their men, right? Women stuck with their men. And here's the thing. This morning I was having a conversation with my guy, and we were talking about some different things, and I was reading out some journal posts, prompts to him, and just doing the self-analysis that I tend to do, and looking at different women and viewpoints and all this different stuff. And I was reading this one journal prompt to him, and I was like, this is like, at first my response was, I'm a no to this. Like, I don't have these issues. And then I sat there for a second and I went, wow, no, actually I do have these issues. They're not as prominent as they are for some people, for some women, but I do have some challenges, some holdbacks. And the prompt was something I should probably post this prompt later once I find it again. But the prompt was basically on the line of, do your old ways of thinking, do you find yourself getting stuck with these old programs and thoughts that are holding you back, shutting you down around self-esteem, around confidence, around where you were not a success in relationship or with men in general. And as I told him, I said, I don't count any of my relationships as not being successful. I look at them as learning lessons, right? I look at them as ways to really explore myself and to learn more about myself and to learn more about relationship in general and about love in general. And I was like, and I don't really have a whole lot of self-esteem stuff. Every woman has some body image stuff. Every woman has different things. But as I was talking to him, I realized that I was actually not being 100% truthful with him, which also meant that I wasn't being 100%. It was coming from the fact that I wasn't being 100% truthful with myself. I wasn't getting down to the reality with myself. So once I accessed the truth with myself, then I could, remedy the situation as to what I had told him. And my reality was that I do have some sabotaging things, fears. So I have armor put in relationship, in love, in sex, in intimacy, around being really raw, really vulnerable partner. Past situations that I have either manifested and created for myself or have attracted in a partner to support my belief structure, which is what we do, right? Which is what we do. And I'm like, I can see how this goes all the way back to my childhood, but my program is that if I tell exactly what my needs are, exactly what my wants are, exactly what's going on, like really bare my heart and soul on something, and that the other person is going to take offense and shut down. They're going to retract their love. And inevitable will happen that they're going to go, no, I'm going to dispose of this love because it's too messy, it's too much, it's too this, it's too that. I'm never making her happy, I'm not enough for her. Whatever their program is going to meet my program and cause a breakup, right? And I was like, and then my other then what actually ends up going on is that then I feel used. I feel like a piece of trash, right? So now I'm disposable. She's a disposable and over there. live, like live forever in this situation. But then all of a sudden she bears her heart, she gets really raw and truthful with me, and now I'm going to dispose of the relationship. So that means that I'm kind of like the disposable girlfriend, the disposable woman, right? And that's now all my own programs going on. I don't know. I've done a massive amount of work, so much so that I've changed personalities probably a few times over and through the course of my adult years, just learning about myself and adapting and figuring out what really feels right and strong to me. So going from introverted to extroverted, going from really super critical to really not judgmental about a lot of things at all. But that's because I've done a massive amount of internal work on this stuff. So I say this, and here's the growth point, is that I realize that, hey, I'm still human and I still have these programs, right? But what do we do? Like, as I was sitting there, and him and I have had some conversations over quarantine period, like relationships getting pushed in different ways and adjusted in different ways, and different things wasn't fully being spoken before, and we're like working through this beautiful process that quarantine has presented to us to actually get to know each other better, to actually go deeper with each other, to grow our intimacy, to grow our connection, and to really expand our relationship, and to really have it be more of that empowered relationship versus just a need-based relationship. But the conversations have brought us to these points where I'm like, oh, well, here's this, here's that, right? Well, what is it that I've been revealing a lot? So also with my reveal of my truth, of my deepest heart and soul to him on different matters, comes the fear. And what this whole conscious coffee is really about is ladies. Last week I was beating up the guys. Last week I was like going that your girls haven't a happy woman's a happy house, a happy family, a happy everything, right? And that we really need orgasm as women and what that does for us. And then it was going down like, consent and domestic violence and domestic rape and how prominent that is and what it really looks like on the home front, because we think of things in this Hollywood fashion, but we don't really look at it from a realist perspective as to what's going on behind closed doors, right? So this week, I might be beating you up this week, but next week I'm going to beat up the ladies. And that's what this class is kind of about, because this is where we start right here. We start with getting real with ourselves, ladies. We start with being able to tell ourselves the truth and being able to start vocalizing that. But we have to be willing to do that inner work to really start to tap into who we are and to see where we are stuck in an old program. Much like this morning, and the kind of some of this stuff, like Steve and I had a conversation last week, and my old program came up and flew at him. Like I was crying, and the old program is speaking, and I'm going, nope, this is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be. I just know this is how it's going to be, and I'm just like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I don't want anything to do with this. Like, I just knew for a fact that program had a hold of me. My program was operating me, and it was this you don't matter, your words don't matter, nobody's ever going to listen to you, asking for too much, you can't trust the masculine, you can't speak your truth, men are never going to get it, blah 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 blah, all of this stuff. And of course, you're now spoken, now you're disposable because you're not meeting what he wants, what he needs, you're not meeting the demands of man. So now so getting myself on that edge, well, I could continue that program, I could continue to listen to those words that was instilled in me from when I was a little girl, right? When I got told, stop it, you're just a kid, your words don't matter. Like, stop, you don't get to make a decision here. You don't get to make a choice here. It doesn't matter. Like, oh, I don't care what you want. This is what you're going to do. All of that kind of stuff. That was all my little girl coming out. And gone through different things and works into relationships, and then I see this come out in different relationships to the point of like last week conversation with him, and here's my program here, looking at this one journal prompt. I hear my grandson looking at this one journal prompt and really going, oh no, I don't have that. Oh wait, I do have that. So what is it that's actually going on here? Oh, I'm not being 100% truthful with me. So if I'm not 100% truthful with me, my own shadows, if I'm not willing to really go deep inside myself, analyze where this is actually, then how am I ever going to be truthful with a partner or in relationship 100%? And if I am revealing myself and trying to be as authentic and truthful with my partner as I possibly can, but then I find out that, oh, maybe that's not 100% accurate, fix that. Well, number one, you got to have a partner that knows that you're doing your work and can appreciate you doing your work. Also go back and go, oh, wait just a second, I messed up right there. That's 100% accurate. Now that I think about it, I actually see myself. I actually see it showing up like this and like this and like this. Okay? But what do we do? As the title says, women getting stuck with their men, right? Well, we get stuck with our guys, okay? We get stuck with them. And I don't mean that we're stuck in the house and that we're with, or anything like that. What I'm talking about is that we get stuck in a program. We get stuck in a cycle. The man that we're with, we tend to not allow him or ourselves to develop, to change, access this beautiful space called the void of growth, because that's just the soil. That's where all the nourishment comes from. That's all the where we get to feed the seeds that we are planting, where we get to expand and grow. Without that space there for growth, we are too tight in our container. And what ends up happening is we run around and we go, I want you to do blah, blah, blah. So like last week when I was beating up on the guys and I'm like, okay guys, you need to like do this, you need to do that, blah, 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 blah. What if we have a guy that we get real, we get raw with? He hangs on. He's like, no, I'm gonna work with you on this. I want to work with this on you. I want, like, I love you. I'm here for the long haul, babe. I'm got you. I'm gonna lean in on this. I'm gonna have faith, but I want to see some evidence, right? Because my past tells me one thing, but I really want this to work right here. So we allow for him to prove to us that he's gonna do what we need, or that can work on our relationship the way we're requesting, or something like that. And then what do we do, ladies? Seriously, like really seriously, do we apply our focus to what we're wanting to see, or do we apply our focus to our fear, to the fear? And here's the thing, 90% of the time we fall prey to focusing on our fear instead of on what we desire. And much like this beautiful, you have people that are focusing in on the fear and that are hiding and are completely sabotaging themselves, locking themselves up and preventing any amount of growth. They're not doing any amount of growth. Now, I'm not saying that you're running around and doing everything, right? We're not jumping on planes and trains and driving across state borders and everything. Not that we could do any of that anyways right now. But what I am talking about is what, and right here, there's so many people that are coupled up, that are with a partner right now, and they're not doing the work. There's a lot of single people out there that are like, well, I was going to start dating in April, but now COVID has prevented me from dating in April, so I'm just not going to date. I have to wait till this is all over, and then I'm. It's like, why are you waiting? Why are you waiting for anything? This is a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to realize that you get to transform yourself. Like, you have the whole world on pause right now. Things slowed down and being given you the opportunity to like go and do the work as an individual. So if you're having relationship challenges, or you are in a relationship and you're like, I really want to grow this relationship. I really want to change some of these old habits. I really want to, kickstart a bit more. I want to rekindle it. I want to. Well, that's the desire. So if we on the desire and we put our attention on that's more exciting, and we bring our attention to when our partner actually does the things that we're requesting. Maybe he doesn't get it right away. Maybe he doesn't, but it's not perfect all the time. Maybe he's still just a big kid in a guy's body, right? And we can bitch about it, or we can appreciate it, and we can go, okay, okay, I don't want to be your mama, but I do want you to be able to touch me. I want our sex to be better. I do want our communication talking. I do want our family life to be connective and loving and safe. And if you're willing to do this work, then if I apply my focus to what I want, how much more are we to actually get the results that we want? Instead of going, it's been 3 days since I told him that, and he still hasn't done anything. Like, I told him exactly what to do, and it's been 3 days and he hasn't done it. Where we didn't catch the fact that he unloaded the dishwasher, or that he, did the laundry when we weren't looking, or he played with it more than what he normally does, or he asked us, hey, is there anything that I can get from the store for you today? Those little things, if we start applying our attention to those things where our partners are trying, and go, oh, hey, I saw that. I saw what you're noticing that he's doing right. Guess what it does? It unsticks your relationship with your guy. It unsticks it, because we got to start someplace. And you're not going to be able to hit a home run out the gates, okay? It's just not going to happen. I mean, yes, there's those flukes that happens, but the reality is that it takes some time. And if you're always going, you missed again, damn it, it's been 2 weeks, and you keep missing, and we focus on, are we motivating in that? No, we're not being motivators. We're actually now enabling the bad habits, because we're focused on the bad habits, right? And now all we're doing is telling them, you're right, I'm not good enough for you. You're right, I'm never going to get it right. You're right, I don't know how to please you. You're right. And now he's going, yeah, so what's the point? Why should I even continue on this? Like, whatever, all she's doing is nagging me now. Now I know what's wrong, and now she's just nagging me. Are you guilty of nagging your guy? Now granted, like, the guys were like giving us all the orgasms in the world. We nag a lot less, right? But what if they don't know how? Are clueless on our bodies, on our emotions, on our sex, because they look at it like, oh, dare I say, like a guy doing, right? They're looking at our sex as though they're a guy, and they are. Those pieces, just like they don't understand our emotion to things. They don't understand brains work with our hearts and our bodies. They don't understand the female perspective. They don't understand that need to be able to get into where a guy uses sex for stress release. That little itty bitty basic fact, which covers 75 to 80% of women, guys don't get. But what if we started vocalizing this stuff? What if we started actually really communicating this during this quarantine time? What if we actually decided that we were going to take, I was going to take a sip of water and then just went, no, not doing it. Actually decide during this quarantine period to dedicate 30 minutes a day to ourselves. And I'm talking about taking our next gen nails off. I did last night. Not taking our next gen nails off, or playing with our hair, or taking a bubble bath. Like doing the work. Like really going in and doing the work, asking ourselves the difficult questions, asking ourselves what we really are fearful about, asking ourselves how much of the thinking when life calms down, what's really going through our head, and like jotting down those top 10 thoughts that go through our head, and are they fear-based or are they desire-based? I'm talking about going, all right, maybe when was the last time I touched myself so that I could explain to my partner exactly how I want to be touched? When was the last time I communicated with my partner what my needs were, what my love languages were, what my apology language was that would really impact? What was the last time that I actually told him, hey, this is what I'm really loving about our relationship. This is what I'm really needing in our relationship. Here's where I'm being challenged. What about you? When was the last time I paused before attacking my partner and actually went, what's my part in this? What am I not seeing? What am I not saying? What's being expressed? That's the kind of work that I'm talking about. What if we took another 30 minutes, so a whole hour out of our day during quarantine, because I know you're running all over the place, you got all this stuff to do, and from a lot of people is, oh, I'm working an additional 6 hours a day. All right, so because you don't have commute time now, as a job and everything, our life is still moving with you pretty decently, right? Then, all right, so you have your work time frame, another 4 hours to your world to work some more because you don't have commute, and now you're also skipping out on your lunches and you're skipping out on this. What the hell are you avoiding? Because this is the opportunity to heal and build your relationship with self and with your partner. So if you took that 30 minutes, did some of that deep work, if you want more deep work, connect on that. I've actually got a great special that's going to be coming out this next week. Just that's another topic. For 30 minutes each day on relationship, on building relationships, like, oh, get this, courting, that thing, like where you actually get to know somebody before you go out on a date a little, or before you have sex with them, you actually talk to them a little bit, like, oh my gosh, let's actually use our phones for what they were intended, phones to talk on, or Zoom or Facebook, or let's take a 6-foot walk around the park for a date to get to know somebody. Yeah, you can still hear somebody at 6 feet away. Like it could work. Like you could do that. There's no reason not to go out on a date at this point. Like there's creative ways. It's just called creativity. There's no reason why you can't do it. Like, hey, bet you wish that you knew what my lips look like, but I got this cool mask on and you can't see what my lips look like. Tell me that it's going to be worth the wait to kiss you in however many weeks it is, right? Like, play with that stuff. So you should be building relationships right now. And if you are coupled, you should be building that relationship with your significant other, building that relationship with your partner, and actually doing some of that work. So what if you took just 30 minutes a day, single or coupled, to focus in on building relationship, creative with relationship, and you actually brought some different things up for at the conversation table, like start with that. Oh my gosh, ingenious idea there, right? Communicate. Like start to communicate about your needs, about your desires, about what's good in the relationship, where you're challenged in a relationship, what you're needing in a relationship, what your relationship vision is, how you would like to enjoy something during this week. Like come up with a creative, have a champagne candlelit dinner in the backyard or something. I mean, something. Get creative, but bring it together and communicate. Can you imagine you could come out of this whole quarantine, instead of the nasty, disgusting picture I was painting to the guys last week, because we were focused on consent and we were focused on all this kind of stuff. I was talking about domestic violence and domestic rape. What if that wasn't your story? And instead your story was, quarantine was the best thing that ever happened, because I came out of quarantine physically. I came out of quarantine, I lost this much. I was exercising every day. I came out and I had completed these projects. And oh my gosh, the best part is, single ladies, I met a really cool guy. 10 6-feet walks together. And oh my gosh, I can't wait to see him without a mask on, because I really want to kiss this guy. Or, couple ladies, I came out of quarantine and oh my gosh, like, love that I was being lost, it's rekindled. It is so, we are so deeply connected, so much we support in ways that I never dreamt possible. I really got to meet a new side of my partner, and I feel really calm in my relationship. I feel really turned on in my relationship. I'm really happy with all of the things that I've done, and the steps that I've taken, and the connection formed. I mean, which story would you rather have? The story of stuck and in fear, running those old programs and focusing in on the negativity, or the story of, like, support your ladies. And also, this goes back to the guys too, because communication needs to happen. And if we want good sex and we want good intimacy and we want to be trustworthy in our relationship and to rekindle and to have that desire and that turn on, then this is a beautiful space to start to do it. And both sexes, both partners have to do it here and here first. They have to go inward. All right. If we don't do that, silly internet, if we don't do that, then what? If we don't go inward, then we're never going to be able to connect to our partner as well as what we want. We're never going to have the relationship. My message to you today is to ask yourself if your relationship with a potential partner or the desire for a new partner is worth you learning about yourself, worth you really stepping into your truth and communicating your truth and your desire in a relationship. I want you to see if you can come up with some basic goals around relationship with self and with your partner. Outside of that, as always, if you have questions, if you have things that you would like to explore, if you would like a little bit of help on how do I do that couples work, well, that's what I'm encouraging you to reach out to me for. I will be announcing special probably tomorrow or the next day, so look for that. But for anybody who is interested, get on that wait list. Prior to that, message me. I can get you details on it today or tomorrow as well. And as always, know that you are of a dynamic fuck yes relationship with self, with God, with money, with health, abundance, and most certainly with a partner. Wishing you a most joyous, beautiful Monday in isolation, in quarantine. Enjoy your walking, peeps. And I love you guys. Remember, stop existing, start living, and don't settle for average and ordinary. Catch you tomorrow.